Media and Cut to the Chase present a candidate forum of LA's mayoral candidates. There's 3 ways to vote: by mail, by Dropbox, or in person.
My name is Sylvester Rivers, aka Sly Rivers. Every Friday at 8 a.m. we cut to the chase. So what we do is we deal with political issues, and we don't put the mainstream corporate media in. We also like to thank this institution. This is the Harriet Tubman Center for Social Justice. Thank you, Maggie and John, wherever you are. I don't know if you're in the house right now, but we appreciate you so much. Matter of fact, all this is volunteer because of the love of the people. If anybody heard my show last Friday, I talked about 3 categories of people. There was 1, which is people who care for others. There's 2, I was in a debate and somebody said, y'all care too much for other people. They actually told me that. Then there's other people who care about themselves and a certain type of people. The people in their category, like blacks, whites, gays, whatever. I'll accept them, but I don't like you, I want to kill you. Then there's those people who don't care about anybody except self. You like yours, what is it, number 46? Like 46. Only me, that's it. We also like to thank Charlie. He's live streaming it. And so let me see if I get all. We like to thank Aki Bamboo for donating the food. And who am I missing? Okay, so what we're going to do, if y'all would take your places, we're going to start this program. This is a Los Angeles mayoral debate, or excuse me, forum. So I appreciate these candidates who RSVP'd with us, so that knows they're doing something. Others, one said no because she couldn't do it. That was Susie Kim. Then others just ignored us. Why did they ignore us? Because they think they got that kind of power. They think they're ahead, so they don't have to interact. They don't have to get, if I'm running and I believe in myself and the people, I'll go anywhere and debate with anybody. I'm not trying to pick and choose because they're probably getting paid. Anyway, let me introduce you to our questioners, people asking the questions. Is that a word, questioners? We got, I'll start with the lady on the right. That's Jan Robinson Flint. She's the executive director of the Black Women for Wellness. Give her a hand. Come on, son. Then we have, that's Charlie Wilkin. He's also a member of KPFK. He's doing the live stream and all kinds of stuff. I appreciate him. Give him a hand, yeah. And then we have Dino. He does a program on KPFK called The Signal. And I invited him because he does have a lot of politicians here. Not politicians, but he has politicians on his program. So I'm happy about that. So I wanted him to be part of our questions. What I'm going to do is have the candidates introduce themselves, because on radio, you don't see them. So I want you to be able to match the voice with the name. Make sense? Yes, it does. Just say your name real quick, and then we'll go for the 2-minute thing. Yeah.
Hey, I'm Brian Acosta. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Look forward to this debate.
Good evening, everybody. Buenas tardes. I am Assad Al-Najjar, and I'm running for mayor of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Andrew Kim. I want to showcase my baritone voice. Thank you.
Hey, Andrew Kim, ooh, baby.
Hey, everybody. I'm John Logsdon, running for mayor. It's nice to say that. Thanks, Sly. Thanks, KPFK, for having us. It's going to be fun tonight. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Reverend Ray Huang, and I'm also running for mayor. So great to be here. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Tish Hyman, and I am running for mayor of Los Angeles. I am very happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. My name's Andre A. Salivra, and it would be my pleasure to serve you as your next mayor for Los Angeles.
All right, so how this is going to work, we're going to start. We have our timekeeper out there. Each candidate can come up and give a 2-minute overview or synopsis of their candidacy. So I'm going to get out your way, and we're going to start with Andre, come up, introduce yourself again, and
Well, thank you to KPFK and everyone who's showing up here today. Truly, thank you for your support, for supporting grassroots candidates, not just millionaire, billionaire interests who are buying their way into our elections. I think it's a real indictment on Karen Bass, Spencer Pratt, Nithya Raman, and the other candidates who aren't joining us today because they're not here for the people. My name is Andre A. Salivra, and I'm running as a grassroots candidate for working class people of Los Angeles. I was born and raised here in LA. This is my home. My grandfather came here from Soviet Ukraine, escaped the Soviet Union in the 1950s, brought our family here so that we could have opportunity that there wasn't in the Soviet Union. Our family struggled growing up. I was in foster care as a youth. I was bouncing between my aunt and uncles and grandparents' places. It was tough growing up as a second generation immigrant here in LA. I was even homeless myself as a teenager here in LA at 19. But I fight. I do not ever give up, ever. I fight. It's in my blood. We're Ukrainians. We don't give up. So I pushed. I went through community college, got myself enrolled, got $3,000 in Pell Grants. It changed my life. Got myself into an apartment, worked full time, transferred to UCLA. I graduated near the top of my class, and I had options to go to other schools on the East Coast, some Ivy Leagues. I chose UCLA. Why? Because I wanted to be a product of the public school system here in LA. This is my city. This is my home. This is who I represent. So now I'm fighting for working class people because that's who I am. Every dollar that I've ever earned is my own. I've worked for everything that I have. And I'm good at what I do. I'm an engineer by trade. I think I have the right skills, experience, and also the right just values for this job. As a working class Angelino who understands our people, who's been homeless here in the city, who understands what it's like, I'm proposing solutions that no other candidate's talking about, right? Dormitory style housing for the homeless. We're gonna convert underused commercial office spaces all throughout the city, 500 units at a time, getting people off the streets, and then creating wraparound social services, mental health treatment, jobs training and placement, addiction counseling. Then we're also going to save Hollywood. This is really important, right? We're going to bring back Hollywood entertainment jobs by closing off Hollywood Boulevard and Broadway, historic Broadway, to pedestrian traffic, making sure that people can come from all around the world to see where entertainment is made here in LA, revitalizing our tourism, revitalizing our Hollywood entertainment workers, and making sure that we have tourism dollars coming into our city to support our city. Learn more about me at andreforla.com. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. How you doing today? Awesome. First, I would like to thank I'm so sorry, KPFK for hosting this wonderful event. I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much. And I'd also like to say thank you to my fellow candidates for also being here. You guys each represent something that we all deal with every day as Angelinos. And I also want to commend you all for stepping up and running, because I know it's not easy to do this. So my name is Tish Hyman, and I'm running for mayor because we are dealing with a public safety crisis, we are dealing with an affordability crisis, and we are dealing with a housing crisis as well as a trust crisis. We do not trust our government. And we do not trust our government because we don't see people in our government who speak to the problems that we are facing every day as Angelinos. I came here from New York City in 2010 to pursue a writing career and a songwriting music career, and I'm successful at that. I started a small business, and I'm successful in that. And I watched everything unravel as the city fell apart around me. This is not a reality show. This is reality showing up on our front doorsteps, and no one is coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. We have to come together. I am here in leadership to stand aside with you and fight for fiscal responsibility, to fight for public safety, because we cannot live in lawlessness and fear anymore. I'm telling you right now that we need to come together in compassion, empathy, and common sense. We need to leave the parties outside, because right now we are just humans being affected by terrible policies. You can look for me at hymanformayor.com, HYMAN, 4, mayor.com. Thank you so much.
Hello, friends. I want to be able to see your faces. Hi, I'm Reverend Ray Huang, and I am running for mayor of Los Angeles. I am a mother, I am a community organizer, I am a pastor, and I am a daughter of immigrants. My family moved from Taiwan to actually Germany and then Australia and then to the US. And I was born here in the US, and my parents arrived first with 2 suitcases and a kid in a country where they did not share the same language, did not share the same culture, and struggled. And they found their community in the church. And it was in that church that I found the village that we needed to be able to support each other, because it was an immigrant church. That is exactly how I was raised, is why I'm running today. The honest truth, friends, is that we are living right now in a deep culture of fear. It is what drives everything. It drives how we live. It drives how we work. It drives how we eat and how we sleep. That's why we've had so many sleepless nights. And it drives our politics. But the thing is, I have been organizing here for over a decade, and I've seen our communities rise up. When the fires happened, we rose up and we took care of each other. During the pandemic, neighbor to neighbor, we took care of each other. We rose up for real police accountability during the Black Lives Matter uprising, and we will continue to fight until we finally demand that those funds that are going to the police go back to the community for real safety. We are fighting for our lives, and this is the moment that we need real change. What makes me different than every other candidate out there is that we are fighting an established power of wealth that is going to the very top, and we need a restructuring of our systems for the people. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for being here tonight. Thanks, KPFK, for having us. My name's John Logsdon. I'm running for mayor of LA. I'm the common sense candidate. I'm right smack dab in the middle, and my journey to this point kind of started about 7 years ago. My 8-year-old son and I were in a park in our area, and we were in the middle of a gang shooting while just playing some soccer. It was an intense situation and one that profoundly changed my life. I went into our neighborhood council and immediately started getting involved. Since then, I've been a chair of the Public Safety Committee, and I've also been on the board of the LAPD Pacific Division. So not only that, but I'm a first responder with the ski patrol at Big Bear Mountain Resort. And when the fires happened last year, I was boots on the ground. I was up in the Palisades helping out. Going back even further, I was actually back during Hurricane Katrina. I was one of the first people that was called up to go with the American Red Cross. So I've seen huge disasters, both big and small. My day-to-day job, I'm a producer and a director in the entertainment business. I own a production company, and I've worked on well over 1,000 projects. I've worked on everything from music videos to live concerts to music videos and feature films and documentaries. And I've pulled permits, crew up, work on budgets. So I pretty much do everything within the business. Wear many hats. It's kind of like being a mayor, right? Trying to make everything happen, look at committees and whatnot. I'm a family guy. I have 2 teenagers. I know what it's like to raise kids in this expensive city, and it's not easy. We have to make sacrifices, and of course, LA, we're always concerned about how safe it is. My wife and I were always concerned about sending our kids out there. Now that they're out driving and in high school, it's kind of a scary thing. I love Los Angeles. My parents, grandparents, even great-grandparents all lived and worked here. So, and I like to think that I take complete advantage of this city. I love it. Like from everything from the entertainment to the great sports teams and the food, the culture. I'm a surfer, so I love being at the beach. It's awesome. My priority is obviously public safety, you know, and obviously to make this place great, we need to work on homelessness, affordability, and the entertainment business. I'm here to fight for it. Thank you.
Hello, guys. My name is Andrew Kim, and I'm running for LA Mayor, office of LA Mayor. I was born overseas in Korea and came to the United States as a 14-year-old kid. I landed in a place called Southgate, which is right across from Watts, in the aftermath of Watts riot. That's 1974. In 1960s, we had a real division within our nation, racially and economically. So I saw that in person because when I was being driven from airport as a 14-year-old kid, I saw the buildings that were shuttered on the Century Boulevard. Now I guess it's a Obama Boulevard, but it is Century Boulevard back then, had all these shuttered, foreboding looking buildings. And I said, what is wrong here? What can I do? What can we do to make a difference? So anyway, I landed in Southgate, and there was a Firestone plant, which was a shuttered also. And I saw the problems that we are having as a nation. So I became an attorney. I've been practicing law for 30 years. And then I also organized or founding member of a Greater Wilshire Center Neighborhood Council. I also became the commissioner, county commissioner for Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs Commission. And also I served as judge pro tem. I think that my passion is my faith in Christ. I'm a born-again Christian. And at the same time, my passion is homelessness. And because homelessness drives me, I want a solution for all those people out there on the street at night. I'm going to start working from day one to make sure these people get the help. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, again. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, KPFK. And I'm Asad Al-Najjar. I'm an immigrant who landed here in the early 80s in pursuit of education and the American dream. Upon my graduation, I was blessed to start working for the city of LA. And that was the beginning of where I am today, because back in August 1989, in the hiring interview, they asked me the last question, where do you see yourself when you retire? And I said, the mayor of Los Angeles. And on the spot, I got hired. Since then, I started working very hard on that path. So the first decade, I got involved in all kinds of civil engineering projects and structural projects. The transit system, the trains you see, the D-line we just opened, a lot of these, I led the teams to get them there. I was blessed to work under Tom Bradley to begin with, and with the Reardon era, I started learning and working on the budget. The past 26 years, I'm a first responder. I work very close with LA Fire Department, the CERT team, and LAPD SLOs. Also, the past 11 years, I've been very involved with the interfaith to get all the temples, the mosques, and the church to get together. We are united in faith. Our unique city itself has a character that we don't have in any other city. And of course, with that, I became very active in LA versus hate. Hate is occupying our city. You should see all the hate messages I've been getting the past 15 months I've been campaigning. I started campaigning against my boss, Karen Bass, back in March 2025, and I'm almost here at the end of the road. I have the solutions because I've been inside City Hall. I not only know how to run it, I know how to run it efficiently. You could see my platform at lacity.solutions. Thank you.
Hey everybody, I'm Brian Acosta, running for LA City Mayor. How many people in here are thriving? Exactly. I mean, Tish said it beautifully earlier. We have to be the ones to save ourselves, and that's why I'm running. My campaign is really all about setting people up for success and making sure that Los Angeles becomes that shining beacon that we all remember it to be. Because, you know, I was born here in LA. I've lived here most of my life, and I've just seen the city just completely fall from what it used to be. And so my platform is all about affordability, you know, housing, taking care of the homeless problem, and then also creating next-gen solutions for the systems that we currently have, because I feel like we're really running on really outdated systems, and so we need to be able to bring tech in. We need to be able to, you know, take that that next generation thinking to be able to create the new systems for tomorrow so that we can be successful today. And that's truly the crux of my campaign. I love this city, and you know, I plan to stay and fight, whether it's on this platform or another one. I'm not going to give up the fight. And you know, I encourage you to check out my website to see the rest of my platform at acostaforla.com. Thank you.
KPFK Media and Cut to the Chase present a candidate forum of LA's mayoral candidates. There's 3 ways to vote: by mail, by drop box, or in person. KPFK Media and Cut to the Chase present a candidate forum of LA's mayoral candidates. There's 3 ways to vote: by mail, by drop box, or in person.
Thank you.
All right. Now we're going to throw it over to our questioners. Jan, you want this is Jan Robinson Flint with the Black Women for Wellness.
But at any rate, thank you, Sylvester. Thank you, Maria. So what I was going to say, and I think there are 3 mics up here that folks can answer questions with or be prepared to answer questions with. So Sylvester and I have known each other about 40 years. And we were having a discussion on El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, Malcolm X, whose birthday would be celebrated on May 19th. And one of the great speeches that he gave was the ballot or the bullet. And he did that in Detroit in 1964, which was before the Voting Rights Act was signed. So here we are in 2026.
A point of information, he did, that was the name of the speech, but he did several of those speeches called the ballot or the bullet. The one she's speaking of is the most iconic one. Go ahead.
All right, so then therefore I will get to the question as opposed to the prelude since there's been. So here we are in 2026, and once again, on a national front, we are having lots of challenge to people's voting rights, right? If we look at Tennessee, if we look at Alabama, if we look at Mississippi. And when we look at California, some of us feel we don't have a challenge to people voting, but maybe we do. Maybe we have 26% of the people who are undecided about who to vote for, perhaps because folks have given up on democracy. So what do you say to those 26% of the people who are still undecided?
Yeah, great question. So the first thing that I'll say is stop voting for money. Right? This is the problem. We keep voting for money and we wonder why this city and this country isn't working for working class people, right? Karen Bass, establishment money. Adam Miller, billionaire money. Spencer Pratt, nepotism money, right? And these are the people, because they have money, they get visibility. I encourage everybody, look down ballot. These candidates, there's a lot of great candidates here. They're fantastic candidates. They deserve your vote. You should be considering them. Don't just look at the money interest. It's our civic responsibility to look down ballot, see who those candidates are that we can support and help raise them up, because that's how we win. People helping people, not money. So I encourage everybody, start looking down ballot, find a candidate that you like. They're out there, and support them. Get involved. An hour, 2 hours a month makes a huge difference to any of these campaigns, I promise you. It's more important, more valuable than money. So don't give up. Look down ballot, vote for somebody who really represents your interests, and I promise you it won't be somebody who's coming from money. So that was what I would say to the voters.
Anybody else want to hit that? When you come up, just say your name before you start the answer.
Andre Solivra.
Thanks, Andre. Very passionate. Guys, listen, I feel your pain. A lot of people have given up on our democracy and they think our votes don't count. But I urge you to understand that they do count. The biggest thing that they did was fool us into thinking our votes don't count. Look at each candidate, read about their policies, and pick the candidate that works for you. I say to the 26% that are undecided, I understand why you're having a hard time choosing, because they're only presenting you with 3-4 choices. But there are plenty of people running for mayor who truly care about this city and who have plans. I urge you to go look at my website, which I have a focus on public safety with a regard on women's safety, because I'm very focused and concerned about women's safety in the climate that we have today. I'm focused on economic revival, focus on candidates who speak to the needs that you have. But we're here and we're ready to fight. It's not easy to put yourself out here and run for mayor, but we're doing this because we care about the city. So to anyone who's feeling unsure or uneasy, I ask that you dig deep for hope, because it is there and we are here. We're here to fight for you. Thank you.
So I have a little bit of a different perspective on this. As I've been campaigning, one of the things that I've found is that people don't have the space, because we're getting hit with the war in Iran. We're getting hit with affordability. And so one of the solutions that I offered is something I'm calling the LA Now app. Earlier I forgot to mention I have 2 decades experience as a creative executive, working in tech and film and various other industries in the city. So I developed this app. And so one of the things of the app that I think is great is that it gives the space for it. Because how many people here could have shown up if we actually had push notifications on something for like a town hall? Or having better access to the candidates. Because they're right, there's so many good candidates up here that we're not seeing. So I really think that if we use technology to push accessibility, that's going to be a great way to get more people involved. And that's what I would be pushing for as mayor.
All right, so this is Assad Al-Najjar. My platform is based on change and reform. I have a little of a cheat answer coming in from the wall when I came in. I was very impressed with what it's saying there. It says, I call for the people. I worship and kiss the land under their feet, and I will serve them the way they need. This is something really touched my heart, and I'm going to go by it, and I'm going to adjust my platform to that. We are here because we all love Angelenos. We are here all to serve Angelenos. We have a failed mayor. Yes, I see her every Monday and Friday, and believe me, if she listens to 1 in a million of what I say, she wouldn't be in the boat where she is. We have a failed councilwoman. She's lucky CD4 is running the way it is because the people she got know what to do. Right now, change is imminent. You need to find the people, such as myself, who's been building the city, and now they need a chance to maintain it for you, to bring it back to its golden age. Thank you very much.
This is John Logston. Okay, yeah, to the 26%, this is what I'd like to say. I am the mayor that everybody wants, they just don't know yet. And I like to say that because the media, they kind of just go for the top 3, top 4, top 5. And then everybody else is kind of just down here. And I know that firsthand, and I know a lot of us do firsthand. So for the 26%, I think you just got to do some research and look into it because there's a lot of people that you're just not seeing at the top. And I also like the idea of ranked choice ballot voting because I think and if you don't know what that is, it's basically like you can vote for like 3 people, right? And so you maybe pick your top choice and then your second choice and your third choice. And then it kind of weeds out from there because if everybody does it, maybe you get the first top play, the person that is in the media, but then other people are picking people further down the ballot. So that's what I like to say. I know it's kind of a game, this whole mayor thing, and any election, so to speak. So I've learned a lot since I've been in it, and it's very interesting, so to speak. Thank you.
I want to give a kudos to those 27% who I think is a very independent-minded, and that's what it takes. We want people who think for themselves and make a decision based on their own study of the issues and the people they vote for. And I want to give a good applause to them. I want to say that this is we have a historic opportunity at hand. And it's good that we are so many undecided voters. Because if you vote for those 3 others, unfortunately, I never saw them in the same podium or place ever. So I don't know where they are. I never saw them. I don't think I'll see them, in a few days before the voting take place. So I want to say that that my passion is for the homelessness, and it's recovery first instead of the housing first. We have a problem. We're going to have the same problem 4 years ago if we elect the same people. And we're going to have the same people shouting there's a crisis, our city is going down, there's going to be emergency declared from the day one. We're going to say the same thing after 4 years. So we applaud those people who are still undecided and make a decision based on your own study. Make sure that you make your own independent decision. Thank you.
Clarification, how many percent you said this?
I said 26, but who believes in polls?
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. I'm Reverend Ray Huang, and the truth is it's not that it's only 26% that's undecided. The truth is that 70% of Angelenos sat out of the primaries the last time we held this election. It's not that we have undecided voters. It's that we have people who live here who do not feel represented, who do not feel like this city belongs to them. Right now, what we need to do is to challenge the way that we are currently running our government and our systems, because it's not meeting the real needs of Angelenos. Our system is bent towards retaining power, hoarding power and wealth into the few. The reason why so many people right here have never been represented in politics, why we haven't been heard, is even in that poll you're talking about right now, did not even include our names, right? I believe my name might have been included, but.
Leola missed you. Leola excluded you.
Oh, there we go.
100 students from outside Los Angeles.
So here's the reality. We need a full-on change. And what that looks like is being able to put that wealth and power into our hands. And the way we do it is by fundamentally changing how we vote and make decisions in our city. And that includes participatory budgeting, where we get to decide where our money goes and how we make decisions in the city. Sorry for my time.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next panel of questioner. We'll come back to you, Jan. Black Lives Matter grassroots. They did a survey, an online survey, to find out what the people wanted, not what money wants. So the online survey, our next panel questioner is Charlie. He is going to, his questions are going to revolve. Well, go ahead, Charlie, take it away.
All right, so this people's budget comes out every year, and this year it came out at the end of April. And what it especially looks at is what kind of services that people in LA want with their tax dollar going to the city. And some of the key demands were, on this particular survey of 1,300 people, police funding reduction. Nearly 90% of respondents rejected increases in the LAPD budget, which often accounts for a high percentage of city spending, roughly 46% in previous years, and a shift to public services. Residents advocated for increased investment in affordable housing, mental health, crisis teams, and park maintenance, and reimagining safety, a focus on non-police responses to community issues. And the contextual difference is that the mayor's proposed budget for 26-27, in contrast, Mayor Bass proposes $14.9 billion budget that increases police hiring to 510 new officers, targeting 8,555 total officers. Well, in the context that we have, our country has about 10 times more incarcerated people than other modern countries in the world. Would you say that, would you weigh in on the side that we need more police, more budget for police? Or what do you think of this idea that this people's budget ideas, proposals?
So,
what is your opinion of those?
Go ahead, go ahead. As you're coming up to the mic, I'd like to just say that the reason Karen Bass, she had promised not to increase the police budget, but she did. So a lot of organizations did not sponsor her for that reason. The other thing is, being a black person in Los Angeles, 10% more black people are stopped by the police. So we don't see it as a safety, we see it as something else. It's another gang, another one of the gangs. But anyway, that was your question. Go ahead, Ray.
I am very proud to say that I've been a part of the People's Budget LA Coalition from the very beginning, since 2020, when I was part of the City Hall presentation about the first survey that came out, where we, again, for 6 years, by the way, we've been carrying out this survey. And each time, tens of thousands of Angelenos now have filled out this survey. Every single time, at the very top is housing. At the very top is food security. At the very top is job security, all of the basic needs that we need for us to prevent crime from happening in the first place. Why does crime occur? Because we are in survival mode and we have nothing else to be able to survive with. So the best way to stop crime is by actually providing people's basic needs. And when crisis occurs, because crisis does occur, we make sure that we meet the crisis with what they need to have, whether it's a mental health crisis, whether it's a physical health crisis, right? So I am the only person, the only candidate in this race calling for the defunding of the police, because we need to redistribute that money into things that actually keep us safe. I'm also calling for the firing of Police Chief McDonald, who has not been doing his job in hurting us, in protecting us, and the police need to do their job. So that's why I'm calling out. So next.
Hello, I'm John Logston. So a little bit of a yin and yang with that, but I am like for public safety, and I actually think that we need to have more, like our police force needs to be up around like 10,000. So we are way behind like Chicago and New York, and we have a much bigger geographical area. So, but here's the thing. Technology has been a force for good as far as this, because the accountability of like even having body cams, I know people are worried about like cops pulling people over and actually doing stuff that like has gotten them in trouble in the past, but I think accountability with the body cams has really driven that down. And that's the accountability that we need. Also, I am 100% for having interventions with people that aren't needing cops. So like this circle team, for example, which goes out and when there is an issue that doesn't call for force like police, you know, then that's the kind of intervention that we need. That's where some of our money should go. So that's where I feel about that. And like, I think what we need to do with all the Olympics, the World Cup, and just how much happens in this city, we just need to make sure that we have a good, solid police force. Thank you.
Good. John saved me a lot of the argument. He already said it. Because he is like me. We're first responders. We work close with the LAPD. Look at it this way. I mean, with due respect to all the candidates, I'm the only candidate that actually works on the balance. None of the mayors that I served under, the 6 mayors except Reardon, did actually understand and look through the budget and understand the budget. Our current mayor has no clue what the budget looks like. Her 9 deputies are totally incompetent to know what's going on. It's very simple. We have a balanced budget in a way, but the net balance, when you come to the police, the capital expenditure versus the operational expenditure, that's where you lose track. And all of a sudden, you have overstressed officers sitting home. So your actual officers serving is down in the 5,400 versus 87 on payroll. And all this has to do that on day one as your mayor, I will audit the budget and fix it. I can fix it. Not only that, I'll use only 80% of it, and 20% will be as unforeseen condition or for the next mayor, or like the 2 colleagues here who deal a lot with the IT budgets, they use it for other stuff. Thank you.
Next candidate, and you have 30 seconds to respond to something that you don't agree with. So feel free to do that.
So for this issue, I think the conversation is like take away money, add money. I think it's actually just reallocating the resources we currently have. You know, replacing the police chief, having a police commission that actually reflects the views and wants of the people, so that they can have better oversight over, you know, people that are doing the bad actors, and then also having good things for the good policing, because there are good cops. So I think that we need to be able to reallocate resources appropriately and be able to have just a better accountability over the police force, and a police chief that actually reflects that as well.
Some of you may not know that John was a former police officer himself, so he has a little different opinion about that. I'm also in agreement with John that we need to increase the police presence. I would say maybe about 1,000 or a little more. because I think that safety is a very important engine for the prosperity within our city. So we have a problem with our crime, and that needs to be curtailed. And then somebody said that the police chief McDonald should be fired. I don't know about that. I think he's doing a tremendous work. I think he's doing a good job at a very difficult situation. I think that right now the problem that we have is a homelessness issue that is so dwarfing the whole situation, where the crime and drug issues are prevalent out there. So we need to curtail. As long as we can curtail and take control of the homelessness, I think you can go a long way to make a less burden for our police department so that we can have perhaps less police officers out there. But right now we need a police officer because we have a FIFA and the Olympics that's coming right now. Thank you.
I'm just going to say one thing real quick. This is John Logsdon. I appreciate it, Andrew, that you think I was a cop, but I actually was never a cop. I was a first responder, but that's it. So thank you. Just clarifying, I'm all about truth. So there you go.
So look, I'm going to answer the question. Yes, I believe in a people's budget. I believe in civic assemblies. My name's Andre Saliva. I'm running to be your next mayor for Los Angeles because I'm representing the people of LA. It's our money. It's our taxpayer money. These politicians think they know better than us where our money should be spent. No, they don't. We need to fight for it. And this is why we don't support LAPD increasing their budgets. Why? Because we see that LAPD has a culture problem. Right? This is the problem. If the LAPD were treating people with respect, with dignity, we might be in favor of increasing their budgets, but they don't. They beat the hell out of us. They fire rubber bullets at us. They violate our rights. They spend $300 million a year in liability payouts. It's a culture problem, and McDonald's responsible for that, and so is the mayor. Right? As mayor for Los Angeles, I'm going to reform culture at LAPD. I'm going to make sure LAPD knows they work for us. They respect us. They treat us with dignity. Even if you're a criminal, you get treated with dignity. Right? That's important. Right? That's justice. That's what our police need to stand for. And so, yes, I believe in making sure that our police are held accountable, and we will not increase their budget until they treat our people better, period. Thank you.
So guys, I wanted to go last because I'm not an engineer, but I grew up in the Bronx, New York, in an under-policed area on welfare. And I don't believe we need less cops. I think defunding the police is the opposite of what we need to do. We need law and order and accountability. Now listen, we are in a new day where there is technology that can hold officers accountable. We can do better training. We can reallocate money into training so we have less liabilities and they know how to do their job better. But I grew up in a neighborhood where there were no police, and it was scary, it was dangerous, and it was very hard to get them to come out and service my area. When you defund the police, I believe that the poorest neighborhoods suffer because Beverly Hills is not having this problem. West Hollywood is having less of a problem. There's going to be police there. But we need to make sure that our police are trained properly, the funds are allocated properly. We also need prevention programs. What stopped me from turning to crime is having after-school programs. It's those programs that gave me insight and gave me inspiration. There's a balance here that we need. We don't need less police. We need better trained officers. We need better emergency response services. We need to be safe in our communities. So I don't think defunding the police is the thing I support. Reallocating funds and making sure our officers are trained and making sure that the people who need it most get the safety and the help that they need. Thank you so much. I'm Tish Hyman.
Just a clarification, it's not to just defund the police, it's to reallocate the money so it goes to other things.
In terms of reallocating the money, here's the thing we also got to understand about LAPD, right? Is that right now, LAPD, the average police officer makes $80,000 to $110,000 in their base salary, and they make another $20,000 to $50,000 in overtime, right? And the reason for that is because they don't want to hire more police officers. They like when there's fewer officers so they can raise their overtime. We need to cap overtime. That's a big part, I think, that we need to start talking about. You shouldn't be able to make double your salary in overtime, and that, I think, is an important thing in determining how we're reallocating the police budget.
Everybody, right? Everybody went?
KPFK Media and Cut to the Chase present a candidate forum of LA's mayoral candidates. There's 3 ways to vote: by mail, by Dropbox, or in person. KPFK Media and Cut to the Chase present a candidate forum of LA's mayoral candidates. There's 3 ways to vote: by mail, by Dropbox, or in person.
Okay, so our next panel of questioners is the mighty Dino. His program comes on every
Saturdays at 12 to 1. Thank you. So first of all, let me congratulate all of you for having the courage to do this. I always, Ray was on my show, and I always like to ask that question about what made you go and run for office. So props to you all. I want to give a little context to my question, and this is going to speak to you all as you face the challenge of one day becoming a public office holder. And that's this. Around 2010, the city of Los Angeles, the county of Los Angeles, started picking up the dubious distinction of being the wage theft capital of the nation. Today, the city, the county of LA, is still the wage theft capital of the nation. On average, $28 to $30 million are stolen every single week, a majority of which is impacting immigrants, other migrants, women, people of color. For the last 15, 16, whatever years, every new wave, every new generation of elected officials, especially those that come in with the passion, with the drive, with the dedication, the determination to make changes. As somebody who's worked in public policy for as long, 30 years, this has been one of the issues, full transparency, that I've been a part of. And in the last 3 years, we've been looking at possible changes all of a sudden. For the first time, it's 2010. And then 3 years ago, we were told, budget, we're not going to be able to pass these changes. A year later, budget, we're not going to be able to pass these changes. And all of a sudden, I found myself saying to my colleagues in the public policy arena that I work in, yeah, we're going to keep going as the wage theft capital of the nation. Here's where I'm getting at. Many of the folks who came into office since that dubious distinction in 2010, we've had 3 mayors, Villaraigosa, Scarcetti, and Bass. We've had dozens of council members, some that turned out, new ones that came in, some lost. And again, every once in a while, you'd get somebody to say with passion, that's going to change under my watch. And here we are, 2026, and we still hold that distinction. At some point, everybody who previously said, I'm going to make that change because that's ridiculous, came up against one universal truth. You're walking into a system. I think it was Ray who said, we need to change the system. But once you go into the machine, Assad, you find out the reality, and I've heard it firsthand from elected officials who've said, Dino, it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. You have to play politics. And here's my question. If and when you all get elected, how will you mitigate that reality? Because every step of the way, as we campaign, we have promises, we have realities that we say, look, this is what we need to do. And you walk in there and you realize the system hasn't changed whatsoever. You are walking into that system. So my question to you all is, how do you mitigate that reality? You, after all, will become at that point a politician. And you will have to negotiate. And you will have to come to, is it not collaborations, what's the word that I'm looking for? Compromises. You will have to compromise. And you will look back and say, okay, Dino, maybe we might not be able to address that. And what do you say to the constituents then? So I just kind of want to put it out there because I think this is the reality. In my experience in public policy, almost 30 years, I've never not seen this happen to some degree or another. What do you say to that? Sorry I took long.
Dino, I'm so glad you asked that question. By the way, this is Ray Huang. Because here's the thing. This is the reason why I'm running the campaign as we are is because I'm a community organizer. For us, this has never been about the moment. This has never been about just getting to November. This has always been about building a movement that is lasting. Every single person that has been touched by our campaign that we bring to volunteer, we actually organize them. We train them in organizing 101, and we organize them to organize their neighbors, who organize their neighbors, and organize their neighbors. I'm proud to say we have, I believe, now over 30 neighborhood captains across the city who are organizing their whole neighborhood We have 99 neighborhoods, by the way, in the city of Los Angeles. So that way they are organizing their neighbors, canvassing, learning political strategy, learning how to power map, learning how to carry out house meetings. So that way we understand that we're building something far bigger. The goal of my campaign has been, one, to be able to bring faith and hope and belief that things can change. Because if you feel in despair, you will not participate. And we need people to be able to participate and feel like they're full partners in the city. The second is to be able to bring them into this organizing movement, connecting them with different organizations on the ground who are moving power. Number three is to give them solutions, real solutions that we have been acting upon, such as the participatory budgeting process, which is part of my platform, which is social housing, which is fast and free buses, which we've already done before during the pandemic, which is a public bank. These are the ways that we can fully transform a system that needs to be changed.
Oh, systems. I say let's reset the system. That's what I'm going to do in my LA Now app. One of the big things that I'm a big proponent of is having a digital bill of rights because, we have advanced so much with technology. But until Congress gets their act together, my LA Now app is the next best thing. Imagine having a world where we could have a Yelp type review system that works in real time for all of our leadership. I think this is a great way to be able to hold people accountable in real time and actually, instead of compromising, saying, no, these are the things that we want as people to be passed. These are the things that our community needs, and this is how we're going to do it. So, and the great thing about it is, as a mayor, that gives me a bully pulpit to also hold these people accountable. If I'm able to see, Nithya spent $2 million building 2 bathrooms in Runyon Canyon, I'm like, hey, what's happening over there? Why are we overspending on something that we all know we can get for like 30 grand? So having that level of transparency and accountability is going to be key, and that's a great solution and part of my campaign on how we're going to change things.
Thank you. This is Asad Al-Najjar. So as a senior manager, whenever I did any of the bids and the projects, I always insisted on the certified wages list because that was my own contribution within my little bound of the projects that I handle to put a limitation on the wage theft. The wage theft is happening a lot, yes. I've discussed it with the DA Hockman a couple times to find solutions on that. Like Ray was mentioning, the neighborhood council, when it started 26 years ago, we had the power to go in and try to do, even though we always stumble on a closed door, but that never stopped us from speaking until we had City Attorney Mike Fura. He put a gag order on us in which I've been fighting since 2016 to get over it. Heidi Stein still tried to put gag on us for us in the Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council not to speak about anything because they go, okay, you're a city employee, you're a Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council, and then you're just coming and say, I am an Angelino? Yes, I am an Angelino. I speak as an Angelino. The way we do it, we expand what I've been doing as a little senior manager in there on a citywide. And then we get the empowerment from the future city attorney to the neighborhood councils. Thank you, sir.
Okay, city theft is, the labor theft is a very important, wage theft is an important aspect that we need to tackle, of course. But I think that more important is the whether a candidate is actually independent of the special power. I think that's very important. My candidacy has been, by the way, my name is Andrew Kim, I apologize, has been beholden to none. And that's my motto. And as you can see that, look for people whose candidate is supported by special interests. I think when you see that, then that person probably is going to be compromised by those interests. So the fact that we don't see those 3 other candidates here speaks a volume that they don't need you guys. They just need those special interests to get elected, so they don't really need you guys. So I think that that's one way of knowing it. I think that we need to have an independent audit of all the the departments so that so that our government, city government, is run efficiently. We did have a Department of Efficiency, but somehow it disappeared, defunded. But we need to bring it back. Thank you.
Hey everybody, I'm John Logsdon. As far as the wage theft, and I think this is where we are in 2026, honestly. I think we're at the precipice of where technology is here and accountability is here. So we should be very transparent where everything is going, how the money is being spent. Now, I'm not a politician, sure. I've signed up to run for mayor, so automatically I'm sure like all of us all of a sudden are politicians, right? We're up here, I'm up here talking right now. But what I'm saying is that like, when you get to City Hall, when you are the mayor and you're trying to, like as I was saying before, I was raised in a household that was a divided house. I was a Republican dad, Democratic mother. So I like to think that I personally bring people together. That's why I feel like that's where my leadership is. And as far as being accountable, and there's things that come up, sure, we need to play the game. Someone wants something over here in this district, someone wants something over here, and we got to do that. We actually have to come to a compromise. And that is where politics becomes that fine line. But I think what we need to be is we really need to be just transparent. So I have an ideology that I believe in, and if I'm going to try to go forward with that, and I'm going to try to push, but there's pushback on that, and I have to compromise, at least with accountability and transparency, the people that voted for me will know where I stand. Thank you.
Tish Hyman, 3 things: audit, improve, replace. We audit, we find out what works, and if it works, we improve it, and if it doesn't work, we replace it with a system that does work. In regard to how I would deal with other politicians, one, if you look up here, you'll see a lot of people who are running for office who are not politicians. They are people who care. And these are not the only candidates that are coming up and trying to get into seats. There are a lot of council seats that are coming up right now, and really people who care are there. So what I'm counting on is going into a city council, because we have a weak mayor system. So no matter what I want to do, I have to work with the city council. So what I'm really good at, of what I learned in the music business, which is almost an impenetrable business, and I've been for Grammys and worked with Alicia Keys, Ty Dolla $ign, Kanye, it doesn't really matter, but the point is you have to negotiate. High stakes, and there's high cost if you don't negotiate properly. I'm a master negotiator, I love people, and I believe at the core of everyone there's some little slight slither of good, and if it's in there, I'm gonna find it, I'm gonna heighten it, and I'm gonna bring it to the room. I can change the energy of any room that I walk in, and I believe in myself and my ability to unite people under one truth. We all want safety, we all want prosperity, and we all want a fiscal responsibility at the forefront of our government. Thank you so much. Tish Hyman.
Thank you. My name's Andre A. Salivra, running for Los Angeles mayor. So, wage theft, it's a problem, right? We need a system that actually works, right? We keep hearing this. The system is broken. The system is broken. I'm literally a systems engineer by trade. I'm one of the top systems engineers in the entire United States. I've been doing it for 15 years. Companies call me when their systems are broken to fix them. Why? Because I'm good at working cross-functionally with lots of people across dozens of departments, teams, executive people working in the warehouses, people working in marketing or other departments, right? I can do this at City Hall to investigate the situation, figure out what's going on there, create a solution, right? We create multiple solution plans, figuring out which one of these has its pros and cons, and then we align the people. This is the most important part. We need a mayor who's going to align the people, use the power of the microphone, use the cultural power of the mayorship to align the people behind a common cause. That's why as mayor for Los Angeles, every second Sunday, once a month, outside of City Hall, I'm gonna give a State of the City address where I will address the people of Los Angeles right on the steps, telling you what's working, what's not working, who are the roadblocks, who are the people that are preventing us from making progress in our city. I will identify them by name because I'm an independent, right? And I'm fighting for our city, working class people of our city. And I will tell you, the people, how you can get involved, how you can put pressure, where the pain points are, and so we can get aligned to make real progress and real change in our city. My name's Andre Salivra. Vote for me on June 2nd. Thank you.
Easy. But I want to look at the question of safety. Now I want to ask a couple of candidates who had opposing views to come up with the policing thing and redoing the budget. I think you two, I want you up there, and you, if you all go to the mic, I want you to, because some wanted to increase the police budget and others said we have to reimagine. So what I want to do, I want you to talk to each other of how and why it should or should not work. My opinion, I guess I'm allowed to give my opinion, is that I heard on the radio this morning, not a different station, I shouldn't say, but that there was a situation where a family won a multi-million-dollar settlement because a police officer planted a taser on a gentleman, planted a taser on him. And he said, oh yeah, my life was in danger, blah, 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 blah. So when we keep saying retrain, but it's a culture that's been there. Like when Dino talked about the system, that system has been there and has not been kind to just the grassroots people. It's been kind to the people with the money and in power. So I want y'all to dialogue with that. Why it should be, yeah. You were anti and you were pro. So another, yeah. I want you up there, yes? John wants to. And then.
John wants to increase the
right. I want 2 and 2. So, yeah, so I want you to talk to each other. I mean, I think studies have shown that more police does not stop safety.
Right.
And then we have to look at the reality of it. The reality is that the police put drugs in the black community.
Right.
That's true. That's right.
And, we have to look at this. So I want y'all to dialogue about that.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and lead off on this one because I honestly think that. Great, awesome. So, look, as I've said before, there's a culture problem at LAPD. My name's Andre Saliva, running for LA mayor. There's a culture problem at LAPD, right? The fact that some of these officers would even do this, it's despicable, and it's a fireable offense. But the problem is the police unions protect them, right? They're protecting the bad cops. They're protecting each other because they see themselves like a brotherhood. We need to make it expensive to be a bad cop. I'm actually personally in favor of professional liability insurance for police. We're going to stop paying for the liability payouts of our LAPD. When they commit infractions, when they're violating our rights, when they're hurting people, it's going to start coming out of their pocket, right? We're going to make sure that they have to buy professional. And look, we can even give each one of them $5,000 a year. Go buy your insurance. If you're a good cop, it might only cost you $2 or $3. If you're a bad cop, it might cost you $10, $20, $30,000 a year to be a bad cop in LA. And that needs to be known because then the police unions can't protect them. Then their own pocket is going to hurt. And that's how we're going to fix this situation.
Okay. So basically in any entity, there is the good, the bad, and the ugly. For me, being an immigrant, in the 80s, my first encounter with the police was like, hey, camel jockey, why are you speeding in your car? And it's like, okay, camel jockey, where did that come from? Or then after the September 11, I'm up to date. I'm labeled as the terrorist, the Arab terrorist who's going to blow us up. And even if you got now into my Instagram, oh, what are you going to do? You're going to recruit more terrorists? Is the culture, not only the LAPD, the whole city culture. And it's not only, the BLM is not only Black Lives Matters, it's Brown Lives Matters too. Because we are in the same category. The Arabs, the Latins, the Hispanic, the Blacks, we are all in one pot in which our rights are gone. I'm for balancing. You see, there is net balance. Look, we cannot have no law or an order. We need police force for speeding, for safety, for whatever is going. Look, the crime, whoever is doing the crime can be any color. Who's ever selling whatever it is, who's ever stealing, can be white, can be brown, can be black, can be anything. So you need a system. I'm for balancing it. We lost the civilians. John and I volunteer so that we fill in some of the work. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought it's an open discussion. I wish, yeah, okay. Sorry, I'll give it to John.
Ray can go first.
Okay, we'll just go.
Sure. I mean, the thing is, the history of the police, where they come from, is from slave catchers.
Right.
That is the history of the police. Who are the police protecting? What is the police trying to protect? Anybody know out there?
Private property.
Capital. That's right. Capital, private property. So if the police is meant to serve people, they're not, that's not what they were meant to ever do. That is the history of police. And we've seen it here in the history of Los Angeles, how corrupt, how historically racist classist, homophobic, transphobic, all the sexists, all the things, you could name them, right? And so what we need to do, what Black Lives Matter is inviting all of us to do, is to reimagine what real public safety actually looks like and feels like. Because the Black community, out of all of our communities, including the Indigenous community, we are the ones under threat. They are the ones dying on our streets. And so in what way do we have a gang, an office, a department dedicated to killing our own? You want to talk about real safety? Let's talk about the fact that we have less police officers than we've ever had, and we have lowered homicides.
Crime's down.
And we're still increasing our police budget. Why? Because the Olympics are coming here, and they're here to protect the capital and the power and the wealth of those who come and see us, this city of ours, as a playground. Well, enough is enough. Let's reimagine what real public safety looks like, and that means having people's needs actually met.
And real quick, I just want you, okay, please
Well,
applaud.
okay.
That's great. Please
Does
applaud.
it work?
And I
Okay.
really, real quick, I just want to add real quick to that. She identified something that's really, I'm just going to add a quick second, something that's really important. We need to make sure that there's also an educational component, mandatory education, right, for our LAPD, because let me tell you, 2 times so far on this campaign, while I was flyering in public, doing my First Amendment right, LAPD cited me. I was cited by police officers twice because they don't even have enough education to do their job. So I think that's
Okay.
important too.
Here's the thing. This is amazing. Sly, thank you for having this. What's that? Oh, yeah, I'm John Logsdon. But thank you, Sly, for having this little discussion right here. Okay, we live in Los Angeles, right, which has the crazy history of the LAPD and police. Probably out of anywhere in the world, maybe, right? So here's the thing. I wish there was no cops. I think we all do. None, zero. But unfortunately, we do need law and order because there's people stealing stuff. There's things just going on. I wish it was just all kumbaya and love and butterflies, but it's unfortunately not. And so we definitely need law enforcement. Now, I am all for, like I mentioned earlier, for having like when not everybody needs to be there doesn't need to be a badge that shows up every time there's an actual incident. It could be somebody else is coming in like a negotiator that makes things happen. Like I mentioned, the circle team. But we still definitely need to have police in this society in LA. One day, maybe way down the road, we will get back to where we need to be, and we don't need police. But right now, we do. Thank you.
Yeah, I think, Ray, I think you belong in Soviet Union. With all respect. And this is Andrew Kim speaking. I think that right now the fundamental part of American tradition is life, liberty, and property, private property. Yes, and all races have a private property, not only whites or Asians. And we need to protect them for the well-being of a nation and of our city. I want to hear what.
Well, let's move forward. First, I have to say the Soviet Union doesn't exist anymore. It got dissolved. But I wanted 2 and 2, so we're going to move forward.
Can I just jump into one really quick? As the only black life on the stage, please? Because I hear this word and I hear these things and I'm like, okay, interesting. Listen, guys, I understand that there has been police brutality. I grew up in the ghetto. I do understand what we're saying. But like I said, there needs to be balance. Jingle bells, jingle bells. That song where it originated, it was a terrible origination for that song, but we're not going to stop singing it at Christmas. Listen. Police started out as slave catchers. It's been a long time since they've been catching slaves. We need to focus here. We got cameras for a reason. We have accountability. And if we can, I like the idea that he said, it coming out of their own pockets, their mistakes they make. Yes, they would make fewer mistakes. Ray, you're very sweet, but I don't know where you grew up. I grew up in America. We need police officers, okay?
All right.
We're not going to play this defund the police crap. We know we need protection. Who are you going to call when something happens to you? Ghostbusters?
Time is up.
Let's be for real.
Okay, let me do clarification. Let me do a clarification again. They're not saying defund the police. They're saying reimagine, rechannel the money to other things that might work. Now, at this point, I want to see if anybody in the audience has a question. Name, if you'd like, and your question.
Certainly. My name is Philip Walker, and I do want to thank, I actually know a lot of these people too, and thank you all for getting up and really standing up for your city. And I do want to say that first and foremost. We may all disagree, but we all agree that we love this city and that we're here for it. And I know that you all have worked hard. Like, I've seen you all work hard. So I want to say that first and foremost, and that's very important.
And your question.
The thing that thank you. The question I want to ask too is, like, the point becomes this: like, some people need protection from the police, and I want to actually give you an anecdote from 2020 when I was actually involved in the protests in Santa Monica, and I literally watched platoons of police run past looters with buckets full of shoes to beat the living crap out of protesters. My question becomes, can people actually acknowledge that there is a problem with policing, that this country was built to oppress black people, that the slave catchers, and yeah, there are still slaves, to be clear, look up the 13th Amendment. So can people actually acknowledge that? And they talk about this and that and Brown and all of that, but can you actually acknowledge the way that this country is constituted to keep people of color and black people down, to brutalize them, and to cloak it in wording like
All right,
safety,
we
like
have
law and
just
order?
a-
Can you
for
acknowledge
time.
that?
Okay, here we go.
My brother, I
It's gonna make
definitely
me
hear
work.
you.
I have to edit it out. I don't want to do no
I
editing.
can acknowledge that, yes, there has been police brutality. My brother was beaten nearly to death in the 90s by the police, not at a protest, just in his neighborhood. Things happen, tensions rise, things get out of control, but there's no reason to paint the whole entire brush. We need the police. They need better training. They need accountability. We need to hire, more diverse people to work in the neighborhoods that maybe they grew up in so that they actually know how to deal with the people. There's got to be balance, my brother. We cannot say that we don't need police because something happened.
Okay,
It's happened. It's time to move on and move forward together.
I'm going to interject
We're a
here.
community.
I'm going to interject here. I think you answered his question, but he's not saying that we don't need police. We're saying
KPFK Media and Cut to the Chase present a candidate forum of LA's mayoral candidates. There's 3 ways to vote: by mail, by Dropbox, or in person.
All right, here we go. We have 2 more questions, 3, and then we'll get to closing comments. 3. Yeah, I said 3.
Okay, good afternoon to all the candidates. And I've heard a lot about homeless problems here in the city. My question is, as mayor, I don't know if you have the ability or authority, but someone like me, I'm retired. I've worked for 40 years. I'm collecting my Social Security now. Where can I find affordable housing so that I don't become homeless? Because the average price of a home here in Los Angeles is well over $500,000 or $600,000. That is out of my bracket. So where or how would you address affordable housing so that I'm not a drug addict, I'm not a criminal, I don't have a record, and all the issues about homelessness have been about someone that is not like me?
Thank you for that question. Brian Acosta here. So I think it's a layered thing because right now also what's happening, why, when people become homeless that are, working individuals, because there's a lot of people that are working poor, it's really hard to get back into housing because it's so expensive. Who has $8,000 off, just to get into a place? So one of the things I want to do is I want to have a layered system where people can, if you're a good renter, maybe you only pay the first month's deposit, you're able to just access a home more easily. Also, I want to push co-op housing where we would have studios, 1-bedrooms and 2-bedrooms for $200,000, $400,000, and $600,000, where instead of renting from somebody, you'd be able to build equity. And the great thing about co-op housing is that it'd be non-speculative, so that future generations would also be able to have permanent affordable housing.
Thank you. Yeah, this is Assad Al-Najjar. I'll refer back to what I stated earlier, the 277-page plan we have. Plus, during the Garcetti era, myself and a lot of the senior engineers, and even including my wife that works in the city of LA, we started working on the Abridge home, in which identified a lot of the buildings to be refurbished. We put how we're going to do the asbestos cleaning. We defined how we're going to have a retrofit. We defined how we're going to build tiny homes. We put a plan on the container homes. We put a plan on the prefabricated homes. Everything was going in. We have budget. The city of LA has the money. Right now, it's wasted left and right, and nobody knows where. I know where it's wasted. I know exactly. There's like a $400 million disappeared, and I keep asking my boss, hey, Karen, where is the $400 million? And it's like, get out of the room. You don't belong here. No, really, we have it. We can do it. It's got stopped. Garcetti used COVID to stop, but then now, with me, I know where it is. Day one, implemented. I fire all the deputies and all that. I have a great team here. They are ready. We are all, look, maybe one of us is gonna be the mayor. And whoever it is, we're gonna work collectively together because we complement each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Assad. And yes, it would be my pleasure to work with any number of these people here. Truly, Assad's fantastic, but everyone here has smart ideas. And my friend, your question resonates with me. I was homeless here. I've been homeless here. Even now, after I've made it, whatever, I still rent. I've rented my whole life. I've paid $300,000 of money that I've earned to landlords. I own nothing, and they want it to be that way. The solution, social housing. We need to improve social housing. Every other modern country around the world has some amount of large-scale social housing. 40, 60% of people live in social housing, dignified social housing, right? We make it a priority, right? So it's not a speculative asset like Bryant was talking about. So it's something that people live in, working class people. We don't have to worry about their rent going up despite the economy struggling, which is happening right now to everybody in our city, right? We need more social housing options. So that's why I'm promoting public dormitories, right? For the lowest, most vulnerable, with even single room occupancy and even places to move you up. And then I want the city of Los Angeles to buy apartment buildings, own and operate those all throughout the city. Social housing options where if maybe you're a city employee, you could get one of those. And they're nice, they're dignified, they're modern, they're new. But we need our government everywhere, not just here in LA, but around the entire United States to start investing in social housing for the people. Thank you.
I agree. So we often talk about housing and homelessness as two different things, but the reality is they are two sides of the same coin. And the antidote is permanent affordable housing, and it is through social housing. I'm proud to say that I've been working on social housing for the last 6 years of my career. I have helped pass a statewide bill that is a study bill on social housing in the state, so we can identify what strategies and solutions we need for the state to be able to build out the infrastructure we need to expand social housing in the state of California. I sit on the advisory committee of the state, and over the last 6 years, I've been also supporting our Measure ULA, which is now revenue for social housing, which is right now being under threat and under attack by Mayor Karen Bass and also Councilmember Nithya Raman. And we need to be able to ensure that we are protecting Measure ULA so that we can continue to use the $1 billion of revenue that will continue to expand to build housing. And let me tell everybody, because this is a conversation right now, ULA has not hurt our supply. In fact, we have had more apartments built over the last year than we ever have before, and we're going to continue to do that. So we need to expand social housing, and that is actually how we're going to be able to stabilize our own Angelenos to have housing. By the way, also tenant protections is something we need, so I'll plan on co-sponsoring a bill to repeal Costa Hawkins.
I want to answer his specific question because his question was about him as a man who's aging and living off of Social Security. I worked with the CFB Foundation for many years, and what we do is we celebrate our elderly. When I traveled in Europe a lot, I saw a lot of elderly people out at the nightclubs and people chilling. My wife, she takes care of her grandmother. They're from Russia. She's taking care of her elderly grandmother. They're not putting them in homes because we find that the deterioration of the mind is happening in these homes. So my point is, the same way we have Medicare for like people who are above a certain age, we need Rent-A-Care for people who are above a certain age. And that's a program that's specifically designed to help people who are now living on Social Security, veterans. These are specific group of people that are really being overlooked because there are people that they feel are more in need than them. But the truth is that everyone has different needs. While I won't say social housing, social, this word scares me because we got the DSA creeping their way into our government through socialism. And we've got to be careful. We've got to be careful with words and manipulation. We are a sensationalized community, and we've got to understand America is under attack internationally from foreign special interests. Say what you want. I'm just telling you how I see it. I have the right to tell you, and you have the right to accept it or not, but do your research. Do your research.
Next to the last, okay, go ahead.
how are we going to lose a perfectly good nation like the United States, prosperous nation? I think that we have a problem right now with affordability. When we have so many of these houses and even necessities in daily lives, food, all that is so expensive these days. And I see so many people are having difficulty. I mean, Social Security benefits, I don't know, that doesn't cover anything near what's required for daily living. I myself, I worked my butt off all my life. I barely bought some sort of house, and some area that's not very expensive, okay, in my 60s. So it is what it is, but we need to get this thing in control. And then we want to make sure that our housings are affordable, and then we want to make sure that the permits are streamlined so that more houses are available for average people. And I think that's how we prevent a perfectly good society like ours from falling. Thank you.
Hello, John Logsdon here. Make it 30 seconds here. Okay, first of all, I think rent control is the main key. That would be the key of what happens. You reach a certain age, and you're like a retirement age, and it should just be capped. That's what I believe on that. Now, us working folk that are still out there, yeah, sure, it is what it is. But that's what I mean. I also think that we need to build. I know SB 79 is coming down. I don't want to be like going into all this, but I just want to say that I think that we need to actually build more in transit areas, create more housing stock that'll drive competition, which will actually create lower prices down the road. Thank you.
We're going to have two more questions, and then we'll have closing comments.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mohammed. I was born in Detroit. I recently moved to California to become an Angelino, Michelangelo. So I wanted to say, I had a comment and a question. My comment was that I believe that we don't have mayor candidates. We have presidential candidates all sitting up there. And I really wanted to say that we want to work together as humanity to solve the problems, starting with Los Angeles and then going to the world. My question is that I am Muslim, but we believe in everybody, as I consider myself a humanitarian. So my question to you is, how are you going to conquer Islamophobia, even if it's against any religion, in regards to spirituality? Because we believe in universal, the spirituality is universal. It's not tied down to a specific faction. It's tied down to all of humanity. So my question to all of you, I just want to say that I'm the spiritual leader of the Watts community. This is why I moved to California. And so they chose me to represent them spiritually. So we have the...
Good question. For time's sake, let's get to answers.
Thank you, Mo. So, being the Muslim candidate, I mean, I consider myself an American and Los Angeles, Angelino, and that's about it. But from the campaigning, I realized there is a lot of this Islamophobia going. Fox was asking me about Sharia law, and it's like, what the hell are you talking about? And things like that. But what I can do and what I have been doing is the past 11 years, I've been very active to get the church, the temple, and the Muslims all together. And you have to, this is a different even subject. Muslims are divided between Shiite and Sunni, and they don't even talk to each other, and things like that. So I brought all the religions together, and I continue to celebrate each of us together. Yes, there is books, but at the end of the day, we are all children of God. We are all united in faith, and our diversity is our uniqueness. Thank you.
That's really great, and I want to applaud Assad for his efforts. Truly, he's been really a leader in helping unify all the different religions and sects around Los Angeles, and truly, we need that right now. And I think, you mentioned the right point. You said you're a humanitarian first. That's what matters, right? And here's the difference: is that we have religion and we've got humans, right? I'm an American first. I'm a Ukrainian second, right? I'm a humanitarian first, I'm a Christian second. And it's when you start to put your religion ahead of your humanity, that's when it becomes a problem. Then you're a fundamentalist, right? We need to push back against fundamentalists. They are people who would put their religion ahead of the humanity of everyone. And so I think that's the important thing. It's a cultural change that we need to promote, and I will do that as mayor of Los Angeles. It's okay, you could be any religion in the world, and it's great, but we have to put our humanitarianism, our humanity first, and then our religion second. So thank you guys.
My name is Andrew Kim, and I want to remind you that there's a way to tell the good religion from bad religion. Okay, you see the fruit of what they're teaching, the fruit of their product. You see the product. If it's good, 9 times 10, it's good religion. I say to the Muslims, do the good work. Do the good work for the community. Raise your children correctly, and do the example for our community. And if you do that, then you'll be recognized. And then make more of Assad, people like Assad, okay? So, that meant to be a joke. Anyway, so do that and then be good. And don't blow up airplane or enslave girls.
What'd you say?
That was very Islamophobic right there. Sorry, I was gonna speak, but now I feel like I just need a moment to process what just happened on a radio show. Woo.
I gotta say, in the Harriet Tubman Center when you're here, no anti-Muslim stuff, no anti, no. No anti-Semitic, no anti-anything. All right, now.
There's no such thing as good religion and bad religion. There are people of faith, all of us. Whew, sorry, I am still processing, y'all.
It's all right, Rudy. Take your time.
I am a pastor, and I have been working my whole career around bringing different faiths together, whether you are somebody who considers yourself a person of faith or not, to be able to figure out where and how we are moving to build and to challenge and to change this world together. And that is the only thing, that is exactly what we need to do to be able to combat Islamophobia, to combat anti-Muslim sentiment, to combat anti-Semitism. These are all the ways that we need to come together, as we do have to actually spend time together. I spent time in the West Bank myself. This is why I am for Palestinian liberation, and I feel very strongly about it. And so the ways that we can be able to bring ourselves together is that we have to actually create third spaces. And this is why actually something like fast and free buses, I actually see as a way to be able to bring our communities together, as well as creating more opportunities to continue to build with our faith communities to solve our problems. And so I've actually been very active in this for a long time, working with Clue, working with LA Voice, and I will continue to do that as a mayor of Los Angeles.
Quick, 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Hello, Tish Hyman. I was in Israel on October 7th, 2023, when the war started. And this is what I got from all of this as an American here. We are Americans first. We are whatever we are after that second. No one deserves to be discriminated against. No one deserves any hate. There aren't any special groups that deserve more protection than any other group. We all should be protected as Americans here because we all want the same thing: prosperity, safety, and for our city and people to thrive. So for me, I look at it all like whatever religion you practice, that's on you. We're all Americans. We're human beings first, and we need to act as that. Even with the parties and political, we're human beings first. We need to get back to humanity. That's my thoughts on that. Thank you so much.
Brian Acosta here. So as a tech person, I actually think that because technology has evolved so fast, right now what we're feeding is the algorithm. The algorithm is what's really hurting us because what gets clicks? The people saying all these nasty things. And so as mayor, what I really think we need as a mayor, we need somebody that understands the technology side so that we can actually push back on it, because that's what's dividing us right now. You know, it really is. You look at TikTok, you look at Instagram. I mean, even my ads right now, it's so homophobic. It's just so ugly. And so we need to be able to have a mayor that understands technology and takes the fight to the tech companies. That way we can start bringing down those walls and we can start really unifying in a way that makes sense. Also on my LA Now app, there's a feature so that you could actually see what cultural events are happening, because right now we don't know. I would love to go to some Jewish bar mitzvahs or, you know, some Muslim temple activities, but we just don't know. It's always hidden. And so the app will make it easier to access that. And I just think we need somebody that can, you know, take a handle from a technology standpoint.
All right, I'm John Logsdon. I just wanted to say, look at us mayoral candidates up here. Every single one of us is like, this is a diverse group, right? This is LA. This is what is amazing about this place. And it's also like we all come from different religions, backgrounds, cultures. So we all have to respect each other. That's the main thing. It's about love and how we are as humanity. That should be the first priority. I don't know who said that. Andre, I think it did. But you know what? Let's just be good people. That's all it is. If we were all good people, we wouldn't need cops. We wouldn't need all this. We would be able to just police ourselves. That's where it all is. So let's just be nice. And there we are. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Did he speak? Did you speak already?
Yeah.
No. Sit. We have one last question. You already spoke on this question. Okay, you want to speak? Yeah, you can do that. Somebody.
Because,
like 30 seconds.
It came out really wrong that I somehow dislike Muslims or Islamic religion. No. What I'm saying is that I love all the religions. Islam is one of the main religions that I respect. That's all I have to say.
All right.
You made a joke with bad taste.
I think that's what happened.
All right, so this is KPFK's Mayoral Forum. We're wrapping up now, and we're going to have one last question from Executive Director of BW, Black Women for Wellness, Jan Robinson Flint. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm here today wearing my Black Women for Wellness Action Project hat. Black Women for Wellness is a 27-year-old organization in Los Angeles. Black Women for Wellness Action Project is a C4 organization. We started in 2017. So I actually have a couple of reminders and a call to action for you all. So today is May 16th. The last day to register to vote is May 18th, right? So that's this week coming up. Now, you can go and vote at a voter center, but then your vote is your ballot is a provincial ballot. It's counted last, okay? So your call to action, everybody in Los Angeles is not registered to vote. Register for people to vote, because every single one of these folks up here need people to vote for them, right? So one website that you can go to is called 1 Million Black Voters Rising. This is a national movement to register 1 million new Black voters. This is because there has been such an attack on Black voting rights all across the South. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you that website one more time, 1millionblackvotersrising.org. And your charge and your call to action is to register 4 new voters before May 18th. You got 2 days. You know somebody. You might know a 17-year-old who will be turning 18 before the day of the election. There's a lot of Doris.
And don't just tell him to vote, educate him a little bit.
I'm going to get on to the second thing.
Go ahead.
Okay. The second thing in terms of your call to action, we live in Los Angeles, we live in California, we live in America. It's a democracy that costs money. So if you believe in one of these candidates up here, send them some cash. Make a donation, because they need money to make it happen. No doubt, they need money. Yes. Okay, so they need voters and they need money. So, I mean, it's great to applaud them and to listen and say, yeah, that was a good answer, but really put your money where your vote is, right? Because that's important. That way they don't have to take money from big oil or industry, like that, and they won't be then subject to the whims of that industry. If you want a people's candidate, you got to fund a people's candidate.
Okay,
All right. One more point.
got it.
And then that is, there are plenty of people in Los Angeles who cannot vote, right? Sometimes for various reasons, in terms of it could be a conviction, it could be a citizenship status. But you know what? They can influence people, right? So if you run into folks that you are attempting to register and they can't vote, information is so critical. Have that house party, because chances are they know some folks who do vote and they can influence them, right? So you got actions. We are close to June 2nd. Voter centers open on May 23rd. That's next Saturday. There is challenge to the post office right now. So a lot of people might want to wait until the last day to mail their ballot. I'm going to suggest you not do that. I'm going to suggest that you get your ballot in, if you're mailing it, well before the day of the election, because that postmark might not get on that ballot until well after the election if you mail it on that day. So you want to make sure your vote is counted. If you're mailing it by getting it in, I would suggest a week before. That means this week. So if you're mailing it, mail it early. Well, not mail it now, because the challenge is the post office, and will it get the postmark on it in a timely manner if you mail it on that day? So that's just being the practical person here in terms of if you want your vote counted, if you wait till the last day, take it to a voter center and drop it in. Don't put it in the mail. So my question would have been to all of you, what is your path to victory? I pulled out my ballot. This is not my ballot, this is a sample ballot. There are 14 names on this ballot in a space where you can write in a name. Yes. So that means you got to have a path to victory, right? How do you get to be in this jungle primary one of the top 2 candidates to keep it moving forward?
Great question. Let's do this. Let's wrap that into your closing comment. How's that?
Brian Acosta here. So campaigning, being on the campaign trail, talking to people, seeing how the media has treated this whole campaign, the reality is that money talks, status talks. I'm just a regular Joe. I didn't grow up from a limousine, watching the city from a limousine window. I grew up struggling. I grew up from, first generation. My parents were immigrants. And so I, really heavily rely on community. And that is one of the things that, for my campaign, that I've been relying on is the Latino community, the queer community, millennials. I mean, it's my generation that I'm fighting for. And that's what I'm bringing to the forefront is if we want generational change, that's what I'm offering in this race, because we need the systems of tomorrow today. We need the changes that our status quo people are never going to do. And so that's why I'm in this race, and that's who I'm relying on to get to the top 2 in this race. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Assad Al-Najjar. Well, I renew my thanks to you guys for having this set up. And I'm so proud to be among the best team in Los Angeles. And I really, from my heart, wish one of us is going to be the mayor, because I have no respect for the other 4, really. What I can do is, and what I can bring is 37 years of really hard working to be where I am today. And that has really been the path for me. For many people, for many heritages, for many neighbors, you name it, anybody in not only United States, globally. I'm the 311, I'm the 411, and the 911, wherever it is. And I will continue that. It's an honor that I've been serving Angelenos with my job 40 hours a week, and in volunteering 60 hours a week, and it's in my DNA. Regardless, I win or lose, for the next few years, I will still continue to serve you guys because my wife doesn't want me to retire, even though I am qualified. But it's an honor to serve Angelenos. It's in my DNA, and I love you all. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Andrew Kim. Thank you for listening. Thanks for inviting me to this wonderful location, Harriet Tubman Center. I really respect this this center represents. My clear path to victory is stay focused, agenda-driven, issue-driven, that is. My homelessness issue is the foremost of my passion. We have a misguided policy, keep on making our homelessness a victim. Unfortunately, our homeless populations are victimized by the system. My logo is my motto is Project Liberation Los Angeles. I want to liberate our city. I want to liberate our homelessness people. I want to liberate our family. I want to liberate my church. I want to liberate American dream. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm John Logston, and I just want to say, as far as how I'm going to make it to the top 2 for November, I'm just head down. I'm going to try to make it happen. I'm going to work as hard as hell. But here's the thing. I'm a regular, everyday guy. I work my tail off for actually my 9-to-5 job. I've got kids. I got a lovely wife, and I am a true Angeleno, and I'm fighting for LA. And I work in the business, in the entertainment business. I believe I'm one of the only ones in this in the group that actually is boots on the ground working every day. I got 2 jobs coming up this week, which I'm juggling the mayoral thing and actually producing. So I'm going to fight hard to make sure that there is no runaway production and that we are keeping entertainment, film business here in Los Angeles. That is my #1 goal for like the next 2 weeks. Get that word out and make it happen. Let people know that I'm fighting for them because there's a lot of Angelenos doing that. Okay, here's another thing. Obviously, my slogan is let's go. And that is really, we need to make things happen quicker in this town. I've seen how the current mayor right now has, everything has just been on fast forward in the last few months, but there was 3 years where things were just not happening. So we need to make it happen right now. Let's go. Thank you. And I want to just thank everybody here, everybody that's listening on the radio and in here in this room. Take a deep look at everybody up here. Look at the platforms because they are all great and everybody put their heart and soul into that. Look at mine, logston4la.com. Thank you, and thank you to KPFK. Appreciate it.
Whew, sorry, I'm still processing, to be very honest with you, what happened back there. I'm just being so honest. I felt like my gut was punched to hear the anti-Muslim sentiments named on the stage, which just zero tolerance for that. Period, in this city. As far as how our plan to win, I'm very proud to say that we have now raised over $500,000 with matching funds to be able, with zero money from corporations, zero money from lobbyists, over $500,000 to be able to put into our campaign. We have knocked on thousands of doors, and our field capacity is we are focused on that and to make sure that we hit as many possible doors as we can by by June 2nd. We have reached 500,000 people now on social media. We have well over 1,200 volunteers who are actively engaged in our communities and actively engaged in our campaign. This is the path to win, is that right now we are in a culture of fear. People are too afraid to be able to even imagine that this city could work for them, that they could have a life here. We need to change that around, and that's exactly why I'm running for office, because as I've been saying, it's not that the system is broken. It's that the system is working exactly as it's designed to work. The problem is it's not designed to work for you and I, and that's why we need to mobilize, move, show up, vote, volunteer, get activated, and finally change the system so that we make sure that this city works for working Angelenos.
Tish Hyman here for my final word. And honestly, I'm already at the victory lap. Let me explain why. because I will never stop fighting for Los Angeles. Something awoke inside of me. And I left the studio with Ty Dolla $ign, I left Kanye, I left everybody at the studio to fight for this city, and I'm going to keep fighting. You know why? There's little girls dependent on me. There's women dependent on me. I know I've been in so many town halls where I see black people's history and our civil rights used as a mask for other people's agendas, and black people, we have a unique struggle in this country. Do not forget it. It is unlike anyone else's. It doesn't handicap us. It doesn't make us special, but it is unlike anyone else's. And I got tired of seeing all these other groups pair their struggle with black struggles. They are different. That is a fact. And I will be here fighting for this city forever. So I don't care about just this election. I'm going to bring $3 billion to Los Angeles annually anyway, because I already got the plan, and I already met with the people to make it happen. I love you guys. I'm fighting for this city. No DSA in LA.
My name's Andre A. Salivra, and it would be my pleasure to serve you as your next mayor for Los Angeles. Look, this is a tough time. This is an important time. Seriously. This might be like the defining election of our generation. We need to take it seriously right now. I'm encouraging everybody, seriously, right now, tell people, don't vote for money in this election. Do not vote for money. Don't vote for Spencer Pratt. He's a nepotism baby. Don't vote for Karen Bass. She's the establishment, money Democrats. Don't vote for Adam Miller, the billionaire. Vote for an independent candidate. Look down ballot. Our campaign's doing phenomenally well. We've raised less than probably any other campaign. We've raised less than $20,000, and we're doing phenomenally well. We've connected with tens of thousands of voters. Why? Because I'm out there. I'm on the streets every day. Before I was here today, I was at the Red Bull Boxcar Derby. I connected with about 10,000 voters with our team of 6 volunteers. People are showing up for our campaign. Why? Because we got real solutions. Because I was born and raised here. I'm a product of this city. I was homeless here. I know what it's like to live and fight in LA, and I will always fight for our city. And we're doing phenomenally well. So if you like me, if you like our campaign, tell people about me. Say, hey, I'm voting for Andre on June 2nd. I'm voting for Andre. And that's how we're going to do it. I'm going to win this thing by doing what I've always done. That's depending on the people of my city. Vote for Andre Salivra for LA Mayor on June 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. I want to thank all the candidates that came and participated. Don't leave because I have some announcements to make.
KPFK Media and Cut to the Chase present a candidate forum of LA's mayoral candidates. There's 3 ways to vote: by mail, by Dropbox, or in person.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you all for being here. My name is Ornella Barbara. I am host, producer, and DJ from KPFK, and I am producer for The Signal. Ray, very nice to meet you. We spoke this morning.
You know I'm going to charge you for that.
I'm
going to charge you for that ad.
I understand. Okay, so I'm very passionate about what I'm going to ask. What are you going to do about the tortured, starving, abandoned dogs and cats across Los Angeles? Have any of you actually visited Skid Row, animal shelters? Have you seen the suffering with your own eyes? These animals cannot talk. They cannot not ask for help. They cannot vote. They only wait for your help.
Anybody want to? Okay, here we go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Assad Al-Najjar. Well, since I work for the city for 37 years and volunteer at the same time through the Empower LA Neighborhood Councils, the past 2 decades, I work very close with the homeless from San Pedro all the way to where I live in Porter Ranch. And I do visit all the animal shelters. I work close with all the volunteers. And one of the main problems for our animal shelters to start with is when all the operation became under general services, in which now the food has to go through general services. When you have incompetent general manager doesn't even know what to order, that goes to general services, you have animals in the shelter have nothing. Then when you go to downtown LA, it's 10-minute walk or less from our building in City Hall. You find them, right, you find the abuse of the animals. I don't want to use the rape of the animals. And many times, by the time we report it to the police, it's too late to come in.
Police doesn't even come.
All right. Anybody want to address that?
So I actually have been to the animal shelters. I've been to Skid Row. I mean, I've spent a lot of time in Skid Row, actually, and recently also spent time in Skid Row with a rescue group that provides free clinics in Skid Row for many of our residents who live in or around Skid Row who can't afford services to be able to ensure that their pets are safe. Here is the reality. A couple years ago, I adopted my dog, who is a rescue herself, and I was so proud that during the pandemic, there were 0 animals in the shelter. We got to that point. It is completely the opposite situation now. We call ourselves a no-kill city. The reality is we are killing our animals left and right because our shelter system is so broken, it's been defunded. You all keep calling about defunding the police. The problem is the police has been defunding us, and we are not funding the services we need, like our animals. And I am somebody who actually does not believe Angelinos are only people, human beings with 2 feet. Our Angelinos are our 4-footed creatures, are our 2-winged creatures, right? This is Los Angeles. We need to be protecting our own. The way that we can do that is increasing the funds we need to actually ensure that we can provide spaying and neutering. We need to lower it's very difficult to get your animal neutered and spayed, actually. You have to go through this whole process. It's delayed. You have to wait for another month. We need to quicken this process and ensure that it's happening. We need to ensure that we are enforcing the laws. Oh, sorry. But let me just finish my statement, which is we need to enforce the laws to ensure that our animals are not being hurt by, and look, it's not just our in-house. Constantly we're talking about this, the animals who are being hurt in Skid Row. Whether you are housed or not, there's animals being hurt. What we need to do is stop the abuse everywhere and enforce the laws and ensure that we are ending all of that abuse. I'm so sorry.
All
I
right.
just feel
So
really passionate about this.
I think we'll have one more because I think everybody agrees with this, right? So everybody's in agreement, so we won't have to. Go ahead, since you're up. Yeah.
So Brian Acosta. So I want to have an animal protections unit in City Hall that has complete autonomy so that we can actually look at all the things that are happening, whether it's issues on Skid Row, things happening in the shelters, because from what I saw and heard from the shelter people is that people that actually want to change, they get shit on. And, you know, they get...
Really? I got to edit that. Really? I have to edit that out. Oh,
are you? Sorry.
No, it's not. I have to edit it out.
No,
it's
not
at this point.
But, you know, we need to have whistleblower protection so that people can actually change things. And so those would be my priorities, to be able to have more autonomy so that people could actually create change, and also work with independent auditors to be able to actually change things in the city happening with regards to animals.
All right, let's move forward. I want to take a couple quick questions from the audience. Come up here. Okay, while I'm giving instructions.
I'll make it super fast because I don't feel like anybody's telling you what they're going to actually do. Here's the thing. I have an actual solution for this, right? We need to have an auditing system where every person who has an animal on Skid Row, you have to have a license to have your animals, right? If you're a good owner and you're taking care of your animals, great, you keep your license. If you're not, if you're mistreating them, we revoke it. Then we create a bounty system. If you report somebody, because the breeders that are the problem, if you help report somebody who's a breeder and we find them, you get $2,000. Congratulations. You're going to help us police it ourselves. So we're going to create a system that actually encourages self-regulation. And so that's what I plan to do.
All right, that's what I like, solutions. Yeah, we're going to go to the next question also. I'm glad I want to hear solutions. Everybody talked about housing and homelessness, but I didn't hear a lot of concrete solutions to that. So let's get a quick questions. We're running out of time. We're going to go a little over because we started late. Line up there for the questions from the audience,
Okay,
please.
this is,
We'll go through them really quick.
Naibingi Kuti, thanks for doing this, Sylvester. And I just wonder if some of the people, especially the guy, the man right here that insulted Ray, have you ever listened to KPFK? KPFK is a progressive radio station. So you should respect our point of view when you come into our environment, because that remark that you made about her being from the Soviet Union was uncalled for. And
I think it's so.
It basically sounded like Trump. We don't need that environment in our space. I just want to let you know that. And also, one other thing, the Olympics. Why are
Question. And then
why are we talking about funding the Olympics? Our city doesn't deserve the Olympics. We have so much poverty in the city. Why are we proud to bring in other people here and we don't even have
All right,
money to take
let's
care
see
of
who
our own
wants to answer
citizens?
that question. Go ahead, Ray.
I would love to answer the question about the Olympics. Here's a question that we have not been asking as a city is, should we be holding the Olympics at all? Should we be canceling the Olympics? Right now, we know, and I talked this morning on Dino's show, the fact that the Olympics coming here is going to bankrupt our city. We already know that. We, Angelinos, are gonna be on the hook for the hundreds of the billions of dollars that we're gonna have to owe after it's done. We have not seen the budget come through, so we are at risk of that. Second, we know already that surveillance has already increased in our city, and surveillance will continue to increase in our city, just as it has from Paris. The problem with surveillance, a lot of you have talked about surveillance here that is gonna protect us. Let me tell you, it's actually quite the opposite. Surveillance is used by ICE to be able to identify our own immigrant families to take them away. This is a problem. Surveillance has been used by Texas sheriffs to be able to find people who have crossed the borders to get an abortion because they don't feel safe in their own state. And they've been used that to identify them. I'm sorry, surveillance is a problem. Third, our immigrants, our communities are already under threat. Federal agents will be increased in our city as we move towards the Olympics, and then further, the LAPD will come under federal control. Do we want that happening? They will have access to all of our information. We need to be asking the question, and I didn't even begin to talk about Airbnb. Right now, the Mayor Bass has already proposed that we give Airbnb more money. Sorry, they're gonna give us money so they can buy off our city.
Time.
We're going to increase the evictions of our families, and we don't even have enough housing. So there's a lot of questions we need to be answering in this moment, and I'm calling for a task force in the city to question whether or not we should be canceling the Olympics.
Thank you, Ray. I'm John Logsdon, and I am pro-Olympic. So that's why we have a democracy here, so we can actually talk about these things. So here's the thing. I think the Olympics are a gift for our city, for sure. This is Los Angeles, and this is going to be the third time the Olympics are coming here. Right now, think about it. We just had the games in Paris. How many people saw that on TV and want to go and actually visit Paris? Having the Olympics here is not just about those 2 weeks. It's actually an investment for the next 10 years. People are going to want to come here. That's tax bases for people coming and visiting Los Angeles, going to their restaurants, going to hotels. That's what it is. Tourism dollars drives revenue, which drives taxes. Perfect. Olympics, let's go.
All right. Listen, guys, I'm pro-Olympics, and I'll tell you why. I'm a businesswoman, and I understand what the worry is. But the truth is with the right mayor and the right leadership, this can be a big cash cow for us. This will help us a lot. What Karen Bass suggested was building TV screens so everybody could watch it online for free. I'm like, no. Let's open up our doors to our restaurants. Let's open up the businesses that close down, bring in pop-ups, and get people to buy stuff. People are going to come in from all over the world, and that's going to bring an economy boost to us. I know it might not seem like it now because we haven't even gotten into the particulars yet, but it will. And honestly, I'm an economy girl. I have so many plans to bring money to our city that we will cut city tax within my 3rd year of being mayor because I'm creative. Creativity is something that is lacking in our government. People don't know how to create revenue streams. They only know how to tax us to death. And I'm totally against taxing us to death. We need the Olympics, but we need good leadership. We need to know how it does. And, I just want to say, Ray is serious when she says that she's not about following systems. She's went over her time every single time she grabbed this mic. And so I think if you want somebody who don't follow systems, she's right there with it. Guys, listen, we need the Olympics.
Go ahead.
Yes. Hi, this is Assad Al-Najjar. So I think I'm the only candidate who actually works on the Olympics. So what it is, the history of it, Garcetti days, we went in and bid to get the Olympics. An LA 28 committee was started with the understanding they will be bringing revenue to the city so that they upgrade our infrastructure. I will try to answer without getting a call from my boss or ethics on Monday. But the reality is LA 28 committee all of a sudden has a change of heart going, you fix your city. We need 1.87 billion to get the city ready the way it is to accept people. How much we have? Roughly 44 million as it stands today. I work very hard with the Department of Justice, with the police and all that to get the city ready, but Without being the mayor and I get sworn in December, I will have 14 months to get the city ready. Any other mayor, with due respect, will have really impossible time because I have a decade working on it. I know exactly the operation, how we're gonna get the trash out, how we're gonna get the people, the buses I lined up because this is gonna be a no car zone. So I have the buses ready. And I love the idea that Andreas is bringing to enhance, and I'll let him speak about it.
All right, here we
Because
go. Next.
his idea.
Let him speak about it, because we're running out of time.
30 seconds. Oh, and I'm on red now? I thought it's in yellow. Oh, 10 seconds. Okay. So basically, the Olympics, I can do it, and probably all these great candidates can help me with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Assad. Thank you. Seriously, thank you so much. And I'll make it very quick. Look, so here's the thing. The reason we're scared of the Olympics is because we haven't had a mayor or leadership who could execute, right? I execute on plans and systems. That's what we need. We need the right execution. And like Assad was saying, my plan for LA is to increase the bus transit routes and supplement them with a shuttle bus system, right? So this will make this so that we can actually move people around our city. The Olympics are good for our city because it brings a lot of money in, which floats all of our jobs, all of our economy, but we got to make sure we're prepared, right? And so that we need a transit system that works for people. Additionally, we also need to make sure we're making money, the city, off of all these tourists. Right now in downtown LA, all around, they're warehousing empty apartments. They're not putting them on the market. They're reserving them for the 28 Olympics so that they can overcharge, so they can gouge. I'm in favor of rent control, of a rent freeze from now through the Olympics so that they can't do that. And then additionally, I want to put a 25 to 30% tax on all luxury accommodations. This is any place over $250 a night that's renting in LA during the 28 Olympics, 25, 30%, that comes back into our city. And that can make sure that we have enough money to cover any overages, right? Because all this money's coming in. We got to make sure that our city's prepared to collect it for the people.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next question. So no, that's not for this. That's it for this. I know you've been pointed out. Do you want to take a 30-second respond?
So we talk about the fact that the Olympics is supposed to help our economy. The reality is the Olympic Committee has already said they're planning on considering contracts outside of Los Angeles that are more competitive. So that way, actually, our businesses are not going to actually be benefiting from the Olympics. Second of all, so many of our small businesses are closing, including Red Books, which I was just at the press conference and march with, in which case so many of our small businesses are not being supported, so they won't actually get to benefit. And even if they do get to benefit, they benefit for 2 months. What we need is infrastructure and a focus on the city of Los Angeles, Angelinos who live here now. So we want to talk about economy, we want to talk about finances, let's talk about the fact that's going to bankrupt us, and we're not. Us who live here and our business owners are not going to benefit from it.
That was the response. Okay, let's go to the next questioner. You know, we're running out of time. The next question, please. We want the next question because we're running out of time. We started late.
Sorry, this
John
is
is here
actually
from the Harriet Tubman Center for Social Justice. He might let us go over it, but we'll see.
This is going to be a weighty question. So we've kind of touched on this here and there, but one of our biggest problems in LA is that there's over 40,000 unhoused people in this city. And the current mayor's solution, which seems like a one-size-fits-all, is called Inside Safe. It's extremely expensive, and the success rate has been abysmal. So what I would like to hear is, what are either fresh ideas that you guys are going to be bringing to solve this problem or modifying the current existing system?
Thank you so much. Okay, so this is actually one of my top platform policy points. I want the city of Los Angeles to own and operate LA City-run public dormitories. The city of Los Angeles will purchase underused commercial and office spaces and convert these into 500, 600 beds at a time with wraparound social services on the ground floor. The LA Mission's already doing it. The cost is $15,000 to $25,000 per person per year, as opposed to $80,000 plus for Inside Safe. And we can use those savings to provide social services, mental health, addiction counseling and treatment, jobs training and placement, legal defense services, medical, right? That employs people. Instead of spending $500,000 putting somebody in a box, expecting them to fix themselves, we need to create a social situation, a social hospital for people where anybody whose life is broken can go there and get the social services they need, get a fresh bed, get a hot meal, get a hot shower, where we can take care of them at an affordable rate. Thank you.
Yes, hi, this is Assad Al-Najjar. So being one of the lead engineers in the city of LA, we do not need to reinvent the wheel. We have a plan we developed back in Villagrosa days. It got signed November 2015. Yes, 10 years old, but it's still operational. It got adopted partially by LA County. My colleague, Mayor Lair Agran in Irvine is implementing it, and as you go there, you see it's working. Mayor of Beverly Hills. It addresses to the grassroots of the problem. First, it addresses the homeless families before they actually go homeless. It addresses the veterans. I will start renegotiating what we failed to accomplish Garcetti days, which is to get the veteran hospitals with the clinics that we could utilize immediately with alcoholism and the other programs. Yes, I saw the red. Thank you.
Well, the homelessness problem is the major issue of my campaign. This is Andrew Kim. Because we have Ms. Bass, who has been, from the last 4 years ago, she said it is LA's in crisis because the homeless problem is such a crisis that it requires a state emergency decree by the mayor from the day one. But that has not occurred, or that occurred, but it has not been effective. The reason why our homelessness problem still goes on like this is because of the misguided policy of housing first, as mentioned by this lady. It is recovery first that need to be instituted. We need a 12-step program or such that we can have these people to get independent living after going through the steps. Not handout, but hand up. We need to give them a fresh start and a productive living. Thank you.
Hello, Tish Hyman again. Well, I think I've done my plan out in phases. The first thing I would do is the first year I would spend time organizing the facilities. There are rehabilitation facilities we need mental health facilities, we need facilities for families who are just suffering on hard times. There are different type of people out on the streets and that are homeless. They're not all on drugs, they're not all alcoholics, they're not all mentally ill, and they're not all just, out there just living on the streets because they want to. Some of them are falling on hard times. What needs to happen is mandatory long-term treatment. And we need to build out the facilities. And we need to send a triage down there to find out the exact number of who's doing what and who's going through what. In regard to the dog problem that we have there, that I've been to Skid Row for at least, I don't know, in the last 6 years, I've been out there at least every other Christmas. And I'm telling you right now, if we get to the core root of the problem, which are sick people, help them get well, they won't be there abusing dogs because they'll be in the treatment centers. We have to get to the root of the problem. It's bigger than the dogs. It's the human beings underneath. We need mandatory rehabilitation, wraparound services. Thank you so much.
All right.
Hey everybody, I'm John Logsdon again. First of all, everybody up here has a big heart. This homeless thing, I got to be honest, we all know it is just a huge issue. We all think about it and how to come up with our own platform to make change. So here's the deal. We definitely need to tackle the root problems of homelessness, which is the safety nets. We need to make sure that we stop the homeless from actually happening. But there's so many different pronged approaches. We need to stop the addiction part of it is a big issue, and so is the actual mental health component. We need to have facilities for that, and we need to mandate that people, if someone's refusing service time and time again, and they're found inebriated on the streets, we need to have a place for them to go, and it just needs to happen. We can't ask somebody 100 times, and then they say, and they refuse, if they can even refuse. So we need to take a humanitarian approach, be very empathetic to this, but at the same time, we need to speed up this process. My campaign slogan is "Let's go," and I'm telling you, we need to make it happen quicker. Cut some red tape, make it happen. Let's go.
You want to answer this? Are you good?
Yeah, if there's time.
Yeah, then we're going to go to the next question.
So when it comes to homelessness, the way that we need to, housing first policies work. It is researched, it works in other cities, and we need to actually focus on it. We need to repeal 4118 because it just pushes people who don't have a home from one side of the street to the other. It displaces them, it destabilizes them over and over again. I've been very connected closely to the recovery community for a long time. What we need to do is stabilize people, if they're in needing recovery, stabilize people and support them so they have stable housing so they can work on their recovery journey. The way that we get people out the streets is we be able to support them with a street team, supporting them, building that trust that they have lost. We move them, we need to get rid of the Inside Safe program. It's hundreds of millions of dollars going into a program that is not working and is a waste of our money, has no end in sight. Instead, we need to use all those dollars that we're using on 4118, which is expensive, inhumane, and doesn't work, spending all that money into Inside Safe and put it into real resources and into permanent supportive housing, such as social housing, which is what I'm advocating for, so that we have permanent housing solutions and permanent stability for everybody.
Okay, you know, we're going to go, let's go to the next question.
So good afternoon, candidates. My name is Paul Roberson. Los Angeles is one of the most diverse and internationally connected cities in the nation. While our city struggles with homelessness, affordability, and public safety, countries like Cuba are facing severe humanitarian hardships worsened by the U.S. sanctions and embargo policies. As a mayor or a potential candidate for mayor of a global city with large immigrant and international communities, what role, if any, should Los Angeles play in advocating for humanitarian relief and international solidarity while still addressing urgent local needs?
I'll be good this time. Brian Acosta. So I'm glad you asked that question because we see this happening with like money being sent to, for war, right, in Palestine. It's all connected. It's all the same thing. So one of the things that I'd want to look at as mayor is taking defunding some of those places where money is being allocated to go to war, to go to places that are hurting our neighbors and hurting international, because we, like, our money, it's our money that's going to hurt these people. So looking at contracts, looking at organizations that are going to sending money to send these things and make these things these things horrible on the national stage. So as mayor, I would definitely bring that to the forefront and make sure that our money stays here and helps people.
This is Assad Al-Najjar. I'll echo on what Brian said. So basically, you have to remember, the mayor's job of City of Los Angeles is to serve the people. It's a public works, LAWA, and water and power. Basically, the mayor is responsible for the streets, so the sidewalks, the power you get, and all the operation, street lights where I work, which is all dead, the wires are gone. The mayor job is nothing to do with international affairs. The mayor would do like Brian was suggesting. You ensure that the sister cities that you have all the relationship with are in abidance of the human rights. I mean, I'm for one, don't like what's going on, what happened in Iraq where I come from. I don't like what's happening in Iran. And I left Iraq when there was the Iraq-Iran war and the Palestine and all that. So the only way to do it is not to be the mayor of Los Angeles on a starch organization. If I don't win as a mayor, I intend to establish an organization, a 501c4, for the rights and human rights. Look, she got to 8 extra minutes. I'm not going to abide with the red. Plus, you put the big leader of
I'm the
Palestine
moderator.
there.
Excuse
picture.
me. Is his time up?
Yeah, my time up.
All right,
But I'm
next,
saying
next.
there is a picture.
All right.
Nice picture.
So I think that as a mayor, your primary duty is to be protective of our city. The public safety is the first concern, and also we want to make our streets safe, okay, and clean and maintained well. That's my first order of work as a mayor. So that's all policies that are local, so that we want to make sure that our city is clean and safe. I want to say that I'm not going to be in another country while city is burning. Okay, thank you.
As mayor, I will cut all contracts that are increasing genocide in any other country or war. As mayor, I will also be using the bully pulpit to call for us to stop funding militaries around the militarization and imperialistic endeavors of Donald Trump right now. And instead, we need to be focused on actually bringing our funding into our own city and into our own communities here in the U.S. The fact that we are funding our militaries, the amount of money that we're funding our military with is money that could actually save and end homelessness in our communities, can actually save and support our small businesses here, can actually help develop our economy and support our families with what we need, get us to become one of the best educational systems in the whole world. So there's so much that we could do, and we are wasting our dollars, and we're using that dollars to kill families and children around the world, and that needs to end.
Okay, this is actually more for the this is John Logs. This is more for the KPFK listeners, and I echo what Assad and Bryant said as well. But exercise your First Amendment right. Get out there. If there's something that you are fighting for, like Cuba, get out there and let us know about it. Like that, we are a city that loves to protest, right? So if you're fighting for something like that, get out there, use your First Amendment right, and then your voice will be heard. And then it'll actually might get to a level where we do something. The federal government or some organization actually helps. And like a country like Cuba, so to speak. There you go. Thank you.
Hey, John, great answer. But here's the thing. Go ahead. You have a seat. Media has been co-opted by money. KPFK is a listener-sponsored station. I'd like to say that right now. We are funded by listeners only. That's why we could have this forum. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this forum. And so, but thank you. And we have been out there. But see, the visibility, like the visibility of you, they don't want you because they fear you. They fear KPFK. That's why we invited you here. I believe one of these candidates is going to be the next mayor. One of these candidates is going to be the next mayor. John.
Yeah, thanks everyone is here at the Harry Tubman Center. And, you know, I'm wearing this shirt from Rosa Parks. Every December 1st, 5th is Rosa Parks Day. And the Harry Tubman Center was able to go there and give the city council hell, and that's how it happened. And we're going to give some hell now, so y'all better do the right thing. But I want to just say that, you know, I'm glad that Kenneth Mejia was able to expose the budget and the priorities that are upside down. The top of the priorities is the police, and everything else gets defunded. What we need is gets defunded, and that's a backward thing. So, since the Washington Post started finding out how many people were getting killed since 2015, every year the amount of people getting killed goes up. Every year. 2024 is 1,365 people. It just keeps going up. So he shows us a systemic thing that's going on, especially against black and brown people. My son, every time he gets into the...
John, I love you, but ask the question.
Okay. Every time he gets there, I was going to have two quick questions. Every time he gets in there, I worry about what the police are going to do with him. So it's a systemic problem. We have to do something about it. And right now, the city council is going to take up a plan to be the ones that can fire police. Right now, the chief of police can't even fire their folks. So this is going to be coming up in June. So I wanted to make sure, see what folks feel about that thing coming. The second thing was I got to go to Iraq and Gaza with the former U.S. Attorney General. I had a stroke 3 years ago, and I can't get stuff all the time. But I got to see a lot of places. I saw the horror in Gaza in 2009. In Iraq, I saw what was going on, and the amount of people who are suffering from cancer because they use depleted uranium. All these horrible things that are going on. So what are we going to do about what's going on in Gaza? Right now, there's
From a local level, you're saying, what are we going to do about the international crisis? Okay,
right. Because right now, the city council, we're going to be pushing them to have to divest away from Israel.
All right, here we
that's
go.
the second
I'm
question.
gonna make it quick. I'm gonna answer your second question first. How are we gonna do it, Mayor of LA? Look, I represent the people of the city of Los Angeles. This is not an international affairs position. However, it is a cultural position, and we do have cultural positions. So I will advocate for the popular cultural sentiment of our people, which is not to promote these types of genocidal activities. So I will at least use the cultural power of the microphone to make sure that we're making that stance that LA does not support this. So that's your second question. Your first question, in terms of the police, in terms of, like I said, it's a culture problem there as well, right? We need to make sure that we have people here, and I'm actually one of the few candidates who's in favor of a civilian oversight commission for LAPD. We have charter reform commissions where civilians can then make, recommendations. Why don't we have that for LAPD? If you're an LAPD officer and you've had multiple infractions against the public should review that, not LAPD internal affairs. The public should make the recommendation for that specific officer and recommend them for suspension, and that's what I'll advocate for as mayor for Los Angeles. Thank you. My name's Andre Salivra.
Hi, this is Assad Al-Najjar. So within the public works, we have civil obedience classes in which when one of my engineers or one of my draftsmen or whatever staff is out of line, then we have them in the civil obedience. And LAPD does not have this training or these classes. And this is what Andrea is referring to. So whatever the success stories we are having within public works should be implemented immediately in LAPD. There is no reason for the courses that is working in public works not to work in LAPD. Now back to your other question, and I didn't want to say that, but I'm going to say it. What you saw of ICE is just a drop in the ocean of the same troops did in Fallujah. It's the same training, and I think they classify them as zero classification, meaning do whatever it is, no questions asked, and nobody you have to report to.
Right. One of our sponsors was Aki Bamboo. You can go over there and have dinner. They supplied that great Jamaican patties. If you want to have a further conversation, head from here to there. That would be great for them because they did it. They were our sponsors.
How's it going, candidates? My name is Jared Ford, founder of Freedom Uncensored and America First platform, and I think I'm the youngest person in the room. My question to you is, as an Angelino, I don't care about New York, Texas, or Washington. I care about the state of Los Angeles, not even San Diego or San Francisco. I live in Los Angeles, born and raised. How will you make sure that the streets that are named after Spaniards, the country that was built by immigrants, and the buildings that were built by Blacks, immigrants, Mexicans, anybody from a different background, how will you make sure that the people of Los Angeles feel recognized and that you as mayor will serve them no matter if they're Democrat, Republican, or Independent?
Thank you for this question. This is Assad Al-Najjar. So working 37 years under the planning, the different plans, the 2020, the 2030, the 2050, and believe it or not, I'm still working on the 2060, even though I don't think I'm going to see it. But we do actually recognize all the diversified heritages in the Los Angeles area. And that's why we name cities, we name suburbs, we name a lot of the alleys to attribute all the cultures, to attribute all the great leaders we have here in Los Angeles. And actually, I am one of the advocates for the Made in Los Angeles label. When we did the trains here and we sold it to Qatar, they had the label on them, Made in Los Angeles, designed in Los Angeles. So in the planning, it is in there. Maybe it's slow because of all the other mayors are not pushing it, but under my leadership, I will push to have all the countries of the world represented in Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. This is Andrew Kim. We have that phrase called e plumus unum, which means from many to one. So we need to have a understanding our nation has a history of combining all these diverse background people and making American altogether. So let's think of ourselves as someone who's appreciative of what America offered to ourselves, as a group, and as an individual. But we Americans are proud people. I think that we have a problem not forgetting where we came from a lot of times, and we forget what we have today. Believe me, we have a lot today, and let's not forget what we have and lose sight of that and attack what we do not, continue to see what we do not have and lose ourselves while doing that. Thank you.
Mr. Kim, that was That was a mouthful. I really appreciate that. And you are my dream, young man. You are my dream. I'm working so hard because I want people your age. I want everybody young to get involved in politics because it's your future that we're here fighting for. So I'm so happy to see you here. Honestly, I don't know what I would do. I would have somebody like you tell me about it, and I'd be like, well, let's create a monthly program. I'm all about cultural activations. I'm all about exploring and celebrating our people, but we are all American. And that is what we need to remember at the core of us. We're all from different places, but like Kim said, we're forgetting what we have here. We have to celebrate our country. I've traveled all throughout Europe, Japan, and I'm telling you right now, we have the best country in the world. Unless you leave, you do not realize how blessed we are here as one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Especially if you got money.